Is it their duty to argue with us to stop being in a dishonor? Did Noble Raleigh not set this order up 102 years ago? Right? Did not the rights of a child, 59, tell these people to declare their nationality?
Yes.
In 1959, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Declaration on the Rights of the Child. They include the child's right to equality without distinction on account of race, religion or national origin, and the right to special protection for the child's physical, mental and social development.
How about treaty enforcement, right, with the Clinton?
Yeah.
No country has been a friend of the United States longer than Morocco. You were the first nation to recognize us back in 1777. But we're not satisfied with simply having a friendship that is long-standing. We want one that is dynamic, growing, looking toward the future.
And then Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 49.
We stand today at the threshold of a great event, both in the life of the United Nations and in the life of mankind. This Universal Declaration of Human Rights may well become the international Magna Carta of all men everywhere. We hope its proclamation by the General Assembly will be an event comparable to the proclamation of the Declaration of the Rights of Man by the French people in 1789.
On the 4th of March 1789, the United States Constitution went into effect.
The adoption of the Bill of Rights by the people of the United States and the adoption of comparable declarations at different times in other countries.
And now when Obama went to Hikuta, he even told the people that the American Constitution comes from Muslim law.
Islam has always been a part of America's story. Let there be no doubt, Islam is a part of America.
Even Obama right now, holding a picture of Noble Raleigh. What do these people want? This is what they want. They want sacrificial lambs, and the world knows that. You know, who's going to lay on the railroad tracks to prove to us what we should honor on our own?
Right.
When every man, every woman, and every child must confess their own, we're always looking for someone else to confess what we are obligated to confess.
I don't know this gentleman. I haven't made any contracts with the Public Defender's Office. I don't know what that was an attempt to do, but he does not have the authority to speak for me.
We're always looking for someone else to confess what we are obligated to confess.
So I would appreciate it if any non-identified parties determining to act on my behalf.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's like the Jesus Christ syndrome almost.
How come somebody else didn't make my peanut butter sandwich? You know, like Mr. Ryan cook us a dinner, and we sit around debating about dessert. Dinner getting colder, ain't nobody stuck a fork yet.
Right,
and this is pretty much what we do.
So true.
Because the stuff is not secret. As a matter of fact, wait. That Dungy case, just pull it out just for a second. Yeah, because we're on camera.
Yeah.
This is Regan from New York.
Yeah, this is magic. I was surprised to see it out here.
I want you, I'm gonna hold this.
Okay.
So you don't have to hold that. It ain't going nowhere.
All right.
Now I'm gonna hold this.
You want me to read?
Now,
I know about
this is 1855. Abraham Lincoln. This is 5 years before he held the office of the United States Corporation. 5 years. And this is a slander case. But let's go past this. This is a brother who married Joseph Spencer's sister. His name is William Dungy.
Okay.
This is the summation of the case, Abraham Lincoln, that won the case. Now, you read it, Sheree. Read this paragraph and read here.
Okay. My client is not.
Say loud because you're on TV.
Okay. My client is not Negro. Though it is a crime to be a Negro, no crime to be born with a black skin. Though it is a crime to be a Negro, no crime to be born with a black skin. But my client is not a Negro.
Lockport police gave us this mugshot. This is 19-year-old Shamir Allen. He's a suspect in several shootings in the city. We looked further on the mugshot and found next to the line labeled complexion that Allen is listed as a Negro. Next to Negro, it reads DA. According to Lockport police, this means dark. So Shamir Allen, a 19-year-old suspect, is listed as a dark Negro in the Lockport police database.
When you showed this to me, I thought this was something that happened many, many years ago for African Americans to be described today as a Negro, and I think it's certainly an insult to be described in terms of a black, dark Negro.
The word Negro was used mostly in the slave days, and according to Doyle, is rarely, if ever, used in modern-day conversation. We questioned Lockport Police Chief Larry Eggert about the department's usage of the word. He's been with the department 34 years. For the past 6 years, he's led the department.
Why are police officers within the Lockport Police Department using terms such as dark and light Negro to describe black suspects?
Why are they doing it? Because it's in the drop-down menu.
Aren't police officers aware that that type of terminology can be offensive to blacks?
I didn't know it until I talked to you just now. I don't ever use that term, but I didn't think it was an offensive term regardless.
Eggert's referring to a specific type of computer software that officers use to list the complexion of suspects. When officers go to the complexion tab, there are about 12 options to choose from, and among them, descriptions such as light, medium, and dark are listed, in addition to light Negro and dark Negro.
I think that the Lockport Police Department must have been in a time warp. They failed to see that times have changed.
We're living in a time warp?
Lockport Police.
Well, I disagree with that. This is a program that's 20-some years old, hasn't been updated. Is it our fault? Well, sure it is, but we're certainly not living in a time warp. We're very sensitive to all the issues in our community, including racial issues.
And I want them to know that as an African American in 2014, that it is not acceptable for them to use dark or to distinguish color, but use the terms that we are using and familiar with today.
It's going to be removed. And we won't use it again because now we know that there are people in the community, a significant number of people apparently, who are offended by this word.
And Chief Larry Eggert says some, not all of his officers use the terms light and dark Negro. Eggert says Negro will be removed from the department's database today, if not later this week. Lockport police say they'll do some diversity training in the next couple of weeks to explain to officers why the word Negro is not acceptable to use. And in the future, all suspects, along with their race, will be listed with a light, medium, or dark complexion.
His skin may not be as white as ours, but I say he is not a Negro, though he may be a Moor.
Keep moving.
Okay, Mr. Lincoln, interrupted Judge Davis, scarcely able to restrain a smile. You mean a Moor, M-O-O-R, not Moore, M-O-O-R-E. Well, Your Honor, Moore, not Clifton H. Moore, replied Mr. Lincoln, with a sweep of his long arm toward the table where Moore and I sat. So he's saying with a sweep, okay. I say my client may be a Moor, M-O-O-R, but he is not a Negro, Abraham Lincoln.
So now, is this new argument?
To this point, you know, clearly Don King's saying some type of a story where he's paraphrasing some story. Everyone in the background was sort of smiling. Maybe it was a comical story. I have no idea. But he slips and says the N-word. I mean,
no, but he says Negro. Negro is
corrects
unacceptable in 2016, John.
Look, I'm
Joseph. I'm sorry. I'm mad. And
John's always
acceptable. You did not do it.
John's a
yes.
great name.
John is better.
Look,
far better.
He's telling a story. He's speaking to an audience. He might be giving an example of what happened back in a worse era. I have no idea. We're taking it without.
He's talking about Michael Jackson.
We're talking about. We're taking this story without any context, and it was a clear slip of the tongue. He clearly didn't mean it.
So
he clearly
please
corrected
tell me
himself
that you
right after he said
understand
it.
that using Negro in 2016 is also unacceptable. So please tell me that you understand that using Negro in 2016 is also unacceptable.
I mean, have you not listened to music where other African Americans use
Please
language
don't do that to me.
far
Please don't do
worse
that to
than
me
this?
today.
I mean,
Please don't do that
what
to
I'm
me
going to do
today.
is that you
What
can't say
I'm
Don
saying
King
to
is saying a word that is suddenly now not acceptable.
What I'm saying
it's not a word
to
that I
you-
would use, but
what I'm
it's
saying to
perhaps a
you
word that Don King would
is
use.
this trivializes your candidate's black outreach.
Is it a new issue?
No, it's not.
Scholars know this. How come they don't bring it up? They're called moriscos or conversos. And what we